never get free. Lamb to the slaughter, what you gon' do when there's blood in the water? The price of your greed is your son and your daughter. What you gon' do when there's blood in the water? Look me in my eyes.
Hey guys, this is Ravenclaw What If. Welcome back to another What If story. Now this is What If Deku was from a sealed off universe, part 1. Alright, let's get a couple things, order, so, I know in the anime or whatever, Zeno can't, seal off universe, but for the sake of this story and my sanity, he can. and, and there's that, and, I think that's pretty much about it, really. I mean, I had a couple comments asking me, like, talking about Frieza for some reason, but I didn't really understand didn't really understand where that coming from because, I think I made it clear that, it was Cooler, not Frieza. Maybe the whole transformation stage maybe got people confused. Not totally sure. Well, let me, make it more clear so, you guys don't get confused later on the date. Now, Frieza's final form is going to be Cooler's base form he goes from. It's basically same form that Frieza calls final form is what Cooler's in right now. And he won't degrade because, it's lessons of power. So, there's that. And that's the form Izuku will take when he first activates his quirk. Then later on, he'll get to the point where he could he could morph into Cooler's second stage. And oh yeah, I forgot. My bad. There was something. Okay. You know the purple in Cooler's headpiece and +1 on the chest. It's purple. Well, for Izuku, it's green when he transforms, when he uses his quirk. It's basically a mixture between, what if, someone's able to use ki or whatever and has the quirk at the same time, so it's basically what this comes down to it. So, whatever. That's pretty much about it. And I'm thinking about introducing a character pretty soon. Not sure what role I want to put her in, but I was planning to make, a couple Saiyans in this mixture, maybe 1, 2 at the max. So, let's begin our story. As the years, the months progress, where taking care of the baby and all that, Izuku's still, a little, just got, there's that. As we're gonna do like Izuku's, still pretty young, so he won't remember all this. So as several, guards, come in and come with us. Master Cooler wants to speak to you. As she's like, fine. As I am carrying I do have a child on my hands, so you mind, stop pointing that at me. As he does. He's like, oh, my apologies. As the guard's kind of like Inko, because because she has a certain personality. Let me fix that so it doesn't pop up anymore. She had sorry. The guards that liked her after one of the guards tried to get handsy with her, so she knocks him out. So there's that, and use her telekinesis. So she's she's well liked among the crew that we're in Cooler's flagship. And I'm changing King Cooler to just Emperor Cooler because that sounds a whole lot better. So there's that. As they go in, as Inko goes into coolers, it's like a private meeting area. As he shuts the door, as the door closes, or the ship door, whatever it's like called. And she's like, "Good, you're here." And she's like, "What is this about?" And he's like, "The boy. It's all everything is about the boy now, apparently." As he sits down, he's like, "What do you want?" As Inko is trying to get some information. "What do you want with him and me?" As he's like, "Sorry, me personally, nothing. But unfortunately, you got the eyes of the gods on you right now, so." And she's like, she remembers, you don't understand what those gods, they're not the good gods. They make me seem like a gentle kitten. I don't know what they got planned, but it involves that boy. And she's like, as she, as she sees, he's not really, he doesn't like them at all. He's like, she's like, sorry. She's like, "Judging by your experience, you don't really like them." "Of course not." As he slams his fist on the desk. "Had to grovel around that freaking oversized cat. Anubis. He's a prick. Like, he's a prick." As he's ranting, and he cools down, he's like, "Ah." And before you ask, I wasn't my idea to use my blood in yours and in that. I had no choice in the matter. I was I was quite surprised you actually survived. There's never been a I was quite surprised you survived, because there has never been a offspring from my race to um he's supposed to say monkey, and Inka looked at him like angrily. Human. And she smiles. That's better. It's never been done before, so I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is I can't match him. I have I'm not powerful enough to sequence me to say it, but I'm not powerful enough. But this boy, on the other hand, but he's like, she's like, technically he is your son. She's tired of him saying him the boy, and she's like, "Fine, my son." As he walks over, "He's going to be quite powerful, judging by my DNA, my race's DNA, a little bit of an angel." As she's like, "What you mean angel?" As oh, I don't know if she told her that, but I'm just saying she didn't tell her that. So as Cooler tells her, she has put her a little bit of her DNA in there. She has some. I don't know what's her deal with the rest of her kind, or rest of her the higher beings, but apparently she's out for blood, and she's going to use this. Going to use my son now. She's like, my, doesn't say son, he's like, my offspring, to achieve whatever goal they have got planned. Knowing Anubis and Lady Yuna, it's nothing good. I might be, I might, enslave galaxies and stuff like that, but what they are is totally worse than that I could ever be. As they begin, talking what they're gonna do. As they're going to team up and try to get, Izuku on the right path, sort of right, between, like sort of good but not totally evil, but in the middle. Let me pause this for a second. Okay, I'm back. We're gonna, as the year progresses, they begin, interact, because they want to get free, because, as before we do that, as Cooler's like, unfortunately, but you just can't land me, me and the boy on my planet, on my son on my planet, on my homeworld. No, that that won't work either. The Yuna has keep tabs on you and the son and the offspring. They forbid it for you to go back until their mission's completed. So as they begin to talk about that because I'm just saying that forbid to forbid Inko from going back to her home to Earth. So there's that. So we're going to deal with this as the years progress. The years progress as Izuku has gone through a lot of training. Even when, as soon as he turned like 5, he was training with his father, Cooler. So that's gonna be interesting. So as they're they're sparring. As Inko's like telling him, he's way too young to be doing that. As he's like, he's not so delicate from like the rest of your race. He has, demon frost, demon frost blood in him. He's gonna be, he could take a lot more than this. This is just a sparring session. As Izuku's smiling, he's happy right now. He enjoys fighting. His personality is going to change a little bit. Well, yeah, it's drastically going to change when he gets older, but a little bit older. But right now, he's just a happy little kid. As he thinks it's playing. That's what Cooler said to him. It's you wanna play. As they spar. As they're going off, as he hasn't learned key control or anything like that yet. So he's going to pretty soon. So as they begin their sparring session. As suddenly the angel and the destruction god comes in, as it's Yuna and Anubis. Ah, hello there. As Yuna says, as they're in the middle of the fist, as Anubis has Cooler's hand he stops his fist by one, little finger. And Yuna stops, little Izuku's hand with the end of her staff. It's like, oh, hello there. You must be the young one. As it goes, his name is Izuku. As Cooler's like, wish I can, he was kind of upset that he didn't get to name him a little bit because they're not a thing, but he wanted to name his own offspring more of his race with a coldness, but Inko wasn't going to have none of that. So there's that. Izuku, a fitting name. As Izuku, it's looking at, as she picks him up, stares at him, scans the young man, and she's like, you're almost time for, proper training. As, the angel's like, so, by judging by, his stature and what I've just saw, you've been having the boy train early, did you? As, Cooler's like, yes, it's... He needs to learn proper key control before anything else. As she puts him down, pats him on the head. As Izuku just seeing this new person here. As it's the black kitty cat. He's just staring at it, and and he was like, "What you want, kid?" As he's bending down to Izuku's face, as he grabs his whiskers. As he's like, stop that. you want to get destroyed? As you know, I'll Hakai you right here and now. As you know, Yuna has her staff, hits his hand. He's not to be harmed. He's not to be Hakai'd, ever. As he's like, yes, teacher. Stupid brat, pulling my whiskers. As you know, now, Cooler got a hoot out of that. He was, he was chuckling a little bit, as all that stuff happens. As she's like, I'll be taking the boy for a couple weeks for proper training. He'll be back shortly. As she, teleports. As she didn't really give them, opportunity to say anything. As Inko's freaking out. As she's like, Cooler's like, it's fine. It's fine, woman. Let's just say he calls her by her name, so that's easier. As he's like, calm down, Inko. She won't hurt the young. She won't hurt Izuku. She needs him still for her whatever plan she has, but that's gonna bite her in the ass. As Cooler smiles, he's not gonna use one of my own kind. He considers one of my own out of my own blood as a puppet. I don't think so. As we cut to Izuku, as she's directed him on proper ki control, as she's teaching him. As she noticed that he doesn't have regular ki, as it's same as godly ki. So there's that. So his doesn't really specify. Like, I don't know what color it is, or it's a choice by the user. But I'm just saying because it looks cool. His ki is a mixture between white and black. Kind of like a swirly motion going on there. As she noticed that, and she's like, huh. And she's like, well, that's an interesting side effect. And she puts a mental note as the weeks progress, as she's been training Izuku on ki control and this manipulating ki, as he has he's quite talented in it, and it's like he's learning this. Like, it doesn't take him very long to learn. It just takes him a couple minutes to get it down. In some cases he gets it down in the first try. So Frieza race. So he's already extremely powerful. He just doesn't know it yet. He's gonna be, and as she's like, Anubis, come here. As she's like, yes, teacher. I want you to begin training the boy in hand-to-hand combat. What? Now, yes, and try to go easy on him. He's just he's still a kid. As they begin training. As Anubis, goes a little bit rough on the boy as he goes flying. As Izuku scratches his knee. As he starts crying. As suddenly he just stops out of nowhere. As he's kind of angry now, looking at him with kind of a grin, as he morphs into his quirk activates out of just anger itself, because he's being mean. As he yells, "Stop being a bully!" As he uses his transformation quirk into his stage 1. As it's it's the first stage of there's only 2 stages, and Golden will be something different where he activates during training. So there's that. So but as he's in his first stage of his transformation quirk. As he sees it, as he's still a kid, but his transformation is tall, like a regular adult. So there's that. So it's a bit, it's an interesting quirk. As he rushes, not saying anything, rushes over to Anubis as he socks him with his fist as he like coated his hand with some key just because I just want to do this. I'm not sure that even would even work, but just for sake of this just for sake for it sounds cool. He used a bit of this key like coated in his hands as he socks him. As he socks him, has a lot more force as he goes flying. As Yuna sees this, and she's like, huh. Maybe going on, maybe not, sorry, maybe not going on hard on him because of his age was the wrong choice. And she's, thinking, and she's like, oh, it makes sense. He has frost demon in him after all. As they begin battling, after a while, Izuku gets tired as he de-transforms, as he passes out because he's just tired. As he curls up in the ball, as sleeping mode, as Nuba's like, lucky, luckily I wasn't taking that serious, kid. As he picks him up and gives him to his teacher. As he's like, now I'm hungry. As he goes off, he eats. As she teleports back. As she hands, the boy did well. As he's like, he scuffled a little bit. As Inko's like, what? What happened to him? Oh, he was just a little bit training with Anubis. But his quirk activated today. As she's like, what? As she explains what it is, how she created it to be. It's his frost demon DNA. He's able to transform into, a frost demon. Because he's from your bloodline, he looks similar to you. But a little bit color changes then and there. But enough about that. He just had it, I created that thing. I designed that quirk to only activate in certain high stress situations. It doesn't have to be life threatening, but it had to be emotional. It had to be emotional stress. What it had to be. So seems like he got, a bit of your temper there. Cooler? She's like, my apologies. She smiles. No, the plan is going according to plan. Everything's going according to plan. You won't be seeing me. We will be keeping an eye out. As, she disappears. As we're gonna, light figure. So I'm gonna pause that so you don't. Okay. Now we're going to time skip to let's say 9 years old. Now Izuku has been training nonstop, as with whatever people can, but there's not a whole lot of people who could match up to him now. As over the time skip, Izuku has been, teaching his mom about ki control. So, now she has ki. So, there's that. So I don't know if I'm gonna implement more Inko into this story or not. If you guys want to see that, leave a comment down below. Or I actually might make a poll if you want to have Inko more involved somehow in the story than I normally put her in. So as because I got an idea. I really do. Okay. I'm thinking about. I'll put a poll up if you want to see Inko and Midoriya as a vigilante duo. Type of family duo for being a vigilante. But I'll put a poll up after this video. So let's continue. As the years progress, like I said, during that 9 years time skip. 8 or 9, I forget. Whatever. It's 9. As Midori has teached Inka about ki control, so she has access to ki. She's nowhere near Izuku level or Cooler's level, but she's strong. So not sure what to scale her because power levels are bullshit. But especially in Dragon Ball. But let's continue. But she's strong. So enough about that. Yeah, she's able to use ki blast and all that neat stuff. So Izuku. And I also need to come up with sorry about the pause, but sorry. I also need to come up with attacks that, my own custom attacks. I really don't know what to do about that one with Key Blast, naming them and all that. So let's continue. As Cooler's in, talking. Not really talking, but reading the reports. As he's thinking, need to finish off those Saiyans. Those are that's my number one issue I need to take care of. As he gets the idea. He sees, one of the Izuku's books. As he's like, huh. Kid's a bit of a bookworm, but yeah, I think this would be a perfect test for him. As he gets up. As he walks into the training hall, as he's Izuku, come here. As Izuku comes. Yes, father. What do you need? As Cooler's like, I have a mission for you. As Izuku's like, oh, mission? You have never sent me on a mission before. He's like, yeah, it's a bit of a test, if you would say. Interesting, as Izuku smirks a little bit. What kind of test? You see, we've got some intel that we have some locations of Saiyan, a couple of Saiyans from the Saiyan race that I told you about. As Izuku's in his human form, as proceed, father. As he's like, very well. As he explains you need to be careful when you're dealing with Saiyans. You got to kill them outright. If you don't, they'll come back stronger. They have something called a Zeikai boost, or something around those lines. And be wary of their tails. If the moon's out, best bet is to stay away or chop the tail off. Their power, extremely increases in their 8 form. As he's going through information. He's like, yes, father. Anything else? No. I want these Saiyans taken care of. We have their location. We're arriving at the destination now. As they're already at the base of the planet. As as Inko says, are you sure this is wise? He's still way too young. As she's been a caring mother. Sorry. As Cooler's like, the boy is enough and ready. This is not even this won't be even a challenge for him. As Izuku says, what about collateral damage? As Cooler smiles. She's like, don't, it doesn't matter. These life forms they're not too important. Just don't exterminate the whole race, will you? That will, put a bump in my, in the royal account. Money-wise. And she's like, yes, father. As he gets into like I would think the mothership would have, other whatever, as he's like, take one of our as he gets ready to board to another ship. It's just, a smaller version, it's just a smaller ship. It's still big. compared to other people from people on that planet about to see. But, you know, it's a decent sized ship. It's not as big as the flagship, but it's a decent sized. So as he turns it on, heads into the planet, he has, you know, goons with him. I'm not going to, no, they're extras, so, you know. Like, Sir, Prince, we're here. As, you know, Sire, I guess they would say, but I don't know. As they land, as, you know, the population sees this, as he landed in their capital. Izuku's not playing around. As the Saiyans are hiding behind a couple of buildings. It's, you know, an urban area. These are, hold up. Let me think of what these creatures look like, or these people. Well, I can't really think of anything. They're just, you know, aliens, you know. They're like humanoid aliens, you know. Maybe they have weird ears or something, you know. Logos that, some weird ears, whatever. They have, you know, they're a bit stronger than normal humans, or compared to a human, they're stronger, but they kind of look alike a little bit. A couple of difference now and there. Like their eyes are different, so, you know, they have weird, like, looking eyes. So let's just continue. It doesn't really matter. As Izuku, the ship opens, as several, you know, men, as Izuku squads comes out, banishing, you know, weapons. As, you know, the Saiyans are still looking, they're observing the area. As they see, you know, say someone walking out, as it's, you know, it's a little 9-year-old boy. As he walks out like he doesn't even care. As he's like, Sir, we're at the location. Find them, kill them. Try not to hurt the population if you can. But if they're being difficult, put them down as well. As they're like, yes, sir. As the Saint's like, what the hell? That's the flag of Cooler, but who is that? As, you know, we need to inform the princess. As, you know, as one of them leaves. Yeah, one of them escapes, so that's how that happens. As he does his thing, he evacuates the planet after he contacts the queen of this new development, as you know. Now, Izuku does have a scouter. So one of his men was about to fire, as he's like, leave him be. Sir. He could send a message. You know, it's a good, you know, introduction to me to the universe. Wouldn't you say? As Izuku smiles a little bit. Yes, sir. As he's like, as he's the guard, no, his the lieutenant of the squadron. It's like that smell creeps me out. As you know, they're kind of weary of him because, you know, he's kind of, you know, just think of how a frost demon would act if he had a human form, but, you know, it would basically be like that, but less toned down. So, you know, there's that. So as we continue, as he's like, let that one live. I want them to tell that who did it. If they're to show them that there is no hiding. To come at me in full force if they want to survive. As he's walking down, round up the civilians. As they're the leader of this little colony or whatever it is. It's not a city, but let's say it's a city. It's their own version of a city. It's like a town, basically. Town of, you know, aliens or whatever. Let's just say it's not a city. It's a it's the capital of that little planet. So yeah, it is a city. As the mayor was called. I was like, we had to deal with Cooler. What are you doing here? As Izuku, you had your yes, the deal is still intact, but you're harboring Saiyans, and my father will not let that slide. I said, what do you mean, father? As Izuku, backhands him. No, he just straight up blasts him, killing him. Now, I suggest the general population stay out of our way. We'll be quick about this. As the rest of his men go out, as he singles them to go, as he snaps his fingers. It's time to go on, it's time to go on a Ferrari. Not Ferrari, but, it's Safari. As, he snaps his finger as everyone rushes off. As the Saiyans are trying to leave. As Izuku gets the reading on his scatter. Ah, there you are. As he disappears. As he's in front of the Saiyan. As he's like, hello. So you are a Saiyan. Never actually seen one of you up close. You look perfectly normal, besides the nifty tail there. But as Izuku, let me properly introduce myself. I'm Izuku. And you? As she's like, shh. As he's like, as he goes in for a blast. As he blasts at Izuku. As Izuku, is right behind the dude. And he's like, that's very rude. As he, blasts him in the head. As he used the death beam, blasts him right in the chest. As he falls right in the heart area. As he falls down. One to go, one more to go. One down and one more to go. One down and three to go. As he does, as Izuku, goes onto the second guy. As a couple of his minions are fighting him. As Izuku, hovers above him. As he's like, hey, Saiyan. As they're like, as he looks up, as he sees Izuku, I don't want him to reveal like his quirk just yet to the other characters. So, as Izuku's nothing personal, but you all gotta die. As a beam hits, the Saiyan in the head as he dies. Sir, I think that's all of them except for the one that you let escape. Good. I think I gave him enough time. As he's like, sir, as I thought you wanted him to give the word out. I didn't say about letting him live afterwards, did I? No, sir. Let's go. As they fly off. As he sees his ship. He's trying to take off. As Izuku fires a minimum size key blast. As he hits the engines. As the engines explode. As the guy, rushes out of that ship real fast, like coughing. He's like, damn it. As he's like, shit. As he goes full power into him, the Saiyan. He's like, I know who you are, but you're dead. As all the men, rush over to stop him from attacking Izuku. As Izuku, dodges to the left. As the fist goes past Izuku. As Izuku, kicks to begin to kick him in the stomach several times. Like Frieza, like he has his hands behind his back, Like he kind of adopted that a little bit to as you know, he did that as he kicked him. As he's like, huh, I see why my father despises your race, and you're starting to get on my nerves. As time to die, as he unleashes a supernova. As he's like, this okay, I'm just saying, no, let's go with this. As he goes with a major sized supernova. Now, it's not going to be a powerful enough to blow up the planet, but you know, no, let's scratch that. As Izuku, you know, portals, you know, right in front of him, as he taps on his shoulder, as he's engulfed in, you know, he's pulling a Frieza move, as you know, he's in his orb of energy, as you know, as Izuku, you know, he's floating up in the air real fast, and Izuku's looking at him, as he's, you know, directing his finger to, you know, as it's bouncing around, as he finally hits, you know, they're outside the city, so it's like in the wilderness area, so as he hits a pile of, side of the mountain, as there's a big explosion, as you know, half the mountain's gone, as you know, the dude's coughing up blood, as he's on one knee, as he's like, who are you? As Izuku, you know, does this. Oh, you don't know who I am? I'll show you who I am. As he's like, I am the son of, as he transforms, and you know, don't know how that would look. But anyway, as you know, he slowly transforms, not really slowly, but yeah, he transforms into you know, the Frost Demon race. His, you know, transformation stage 1. As he's like, cooler. As he's like, no, that's my father. I'm his son. As he blasts a death beam in his face, killing him. As the guard's like, that was very unnecessary, even for high standards. As no, this one, he's not a villain, but you know, this is not on Earth, so you know he could do whatever he wants. So, and he's like, let's return to father. He's suspecting me. Oh, we're at our limit. So, as he gets to the ship, as you know, as Inko hugs him, she's like, are you alright? As she's like, I'm fine, Mom. The mission wasn't very difficult. I understand you worry. As Izuku goes to the father, to Cooler, mission completed. Good. How many were there? 3. One of them sent a little message to their rest of their monkey pack. But what? What do you mean? Oh, I let them send a message. This was a warning. This was a warning, Father. I noticed they've been keeping a little bit, you know, they're causing trouble that need to be put down. As Cooler smiles a little bit. All right, there, Ashot. You're not taking my, you're not taking my, you're not taking my empire just yet. She's like, you worry about, you know, training. I'll worry about the Saiyans, but a good job nonetheless. As you know, he goes off. As you know, we're gonna stop it there. Yeah, because we're at, yeah, it's a bit longer than I thought. So I hope you guys have a good night and day, judging by time zones. All right, bye.